Welcome back to the IE427 garage, everybody. We've been moving stuff around the shop. We've got Michael's car all finished, and we've got a couple of things that we need to get going on Jim's Mk4. So if you can look over my shoulder, Jim's Mk4 is over there. The reason the 25th anniversary is up on the lift is since we were moving stuff around the shop, I have to do this strategically. And so the easiest car to push is, of course, the 25th anniversary car, because there's no engine and transmission in it. So come on back and I'll give you a rundown of what we're going to start on Jim's car. Alright, so basically the order of things is that Jim's car was on the dollies. So we had a four-wheel dolly under each one of the tires of Jim's car. And that was so we could move it sideways in the shop. I didn't want to have to roll it outside on, you know, what's just a small hill, but if I'm by myself I can't move the car. And so with the dollies, I move the toolbox and I move the engine for Ellie, and then I can just slide a car from here over there where Michael's car is sitting now. And that's where Jim's car has resided for, I don't know, the past 3 weeks? 4 weeks? And we haven't touched this car. So, in order to get it on the lift, I had to move it underneath the lift, and for that it was just easy to push the 25th anniversary car on the lift, raise the lift up, and then move Jim's car over so it was underneath the lift. And then I pulled the dollies out and I just moved it forward. Tomorrow morning what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the 25th anniversary car, I'm going to roll it out in front of the shop, and it's easy to push inside. It's pretty light. It's probably only about, I don't know, 800 pounds right now, and it's on wheels. So the little incline that's outside the shop doors it's not too bad for a car that doesn't have an engine in it. So I'll do that, and I'll push Jim's car up on the lift, and then we'll start working on the brakes for Jim's car. I'm going to start on something easy tomorrow, something I know I can get done in the day, and that is to put the concentric rings onto the axles. Get the new, they're not new, we had the rear rotors turned, so we're going to put those on, and then we'll put the calipers back on with the new brake pads in them, and then the back end will be pretty much ready to go. Depending on how much time I have, I may move to the front. Now the front's going to take a little bit more doing, because we've not only got to do the brakes, and they'll actually be the last. The brakes will be the last things we do. We got to pop the ball joints loose to replace the dust boots on both the upper and the lower control arms, and then we've got to change out the front adjuster sleeve on the upper control arm. So there's quite a bit of work that is going to go on the front of the car on both sides, and I may split it, you know, I may do one night and one the next night. It's just all going to depend on how much time I have. But we got about a week before the owner of the 25th anniversary car is coming down from where he lives and is going to help us drop the engine and the transmission into Pauline, the 25th anniversary car. So I'd like to get some work done on Jim's car so Jim can see that things are moving forward, and reinvigorate his build and him, you know, Jim himself, and hopefully get some enthusiasm in the shop for new projects. So yeah, I'll catch up with you guys tomorrow, and we'll see about getting all these cars moved around. All right, next day, music update, Rolling Stones. Let's spend the night together. I'll get back to the stuff in the back in a second. A little bit of a sidetrack back there. I started working on the front of the car. I've already got the other side done. And so what I'm doing is these adjuster sleeves at the top, you can see there's a lot of thread showing here. And that means there's very little thread engagement into the actual sleeve right now. So we've got longer adjusters, sleeves that are going to go on here. I've already done on the other side. I'll show you that in just a second. But the ball joint boots are just destroyed. I mean, this is the one that I took off of the upper. I ended up cutting it out of the way so that I could get the pickle fork in there to get the ball joints apart. And you can see the bottom one's just destroyed. It's just all cracked and coming apart. So that's the reason we're pulling all this apart. What I'm doing before I pull the sleeve is I'm actually going to take a measurement from the center of this bolt right there to the center of this grease fitting. On the other side, I'll show you there's an easier way because you can actually pull the adjuster off. But these upper control arms are not mirror images of one another, although these older ones, these pole position ones, can be made to function that way. It's just you have to turn them all apart, tear them all apart, or turn them upside down and rethread the ball joint. And I'm not going to get into all that because I just have to adjust the sleeve or replace the sleeve. So we're going to measure it from here to the center of this, and then we're going to adjust the new sleeve to that exact same measurement, and that should get our alignment really close to what it was. That doesn't mean the alignment was on or perfect. I don't know. I never drove the car to tell whether the alignment was good or not, but we're just going to get it within the ballpark of what it was, and that'll be our base point for putting everything back together. Once that's done, then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put the brake caliper bracket on, the brake pads in, and the brake caliper, and then this should be ready to go on this side. What I have done here in the front, since I had it apart, I went this morning and I picked up some new hardware for the side pipes, because what was in there was just standard hex bolts, and the ones that you would or you should have gotten from Factory 5 should be these Allen head stainless steel, and then locking nuts, the wave lock nuts that go on the back side of those. So I picked those up this morning. I've replaced them on this side, and I replaced them on the back of the other side as well. So that hardware is all in and all in place. So the side pipe should be ready to go. So I don't know, you can see it on this side. So right there, all that hardware's been replaced. Now on this side, you can see everything's back together. The new adjuster sleeve is in. So this is the new adjuster sleeve. You can see there's far fewer threads showing than there were before. This is all still just snug. I haven't tightened everything up yet because I want to check the alignment before we go ahead and tighten everything back to where it needs to go. And then the fittings all look dry, meaning it doesn't look like anybody greased any of this stuff. So I'm going to grease the upper control arm ball joint. I'm going to grease the fittings on the pivots for the control arms. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to grease the tie rod ends, and then I'm going to go ahead and hit the rotors with some brake clean before we call this side all done. I've got some other stuff over here. I've got to see if I've got one of these close-off panels in my excess panel box over on the other side of the shop. The splash shields need to go in. I think we're going to do the pool noodle back inside there. Jim picked up a set of the premium side louvers, so those have got to go in. So there's more work to get done. I'd like to straighten up this wire a little bit, but here's what happened on the back of the car. I found a lot more stuff that was, it's not wrong. And so that's what makes it so tough, you know, trying to explain to someone who's bought a car about the quality and workmanship. And I really want to be delicate in the way I describe this, because the person that Jim got the car from, built the car, was a friend who passed away, and then Jim bought the car from the widow. And so, you know, I don't want to dance all over, you know, somebody's feelings, because the car was built in a particular manner. The car wasn't built bad. It's just there are some things that I would have done differently. The wiring on the car is a little bit questionable in some spots. And the problem that I have right now is that if I open up that Pandora's box, I don't know where the bottom is going to be. And so I had Jim come out here for a little sit down, stand up powwow here in the shop 2 or 3 days ago. And we went over some stuff and we discussed replacing the brake lines in the back. He said, go ahead and do it. But then as I got farther kind of into the rest of the stuff, like I was securing all the brake lines and stuff down the side of the chassis and stuff. If I start taking stuff apart at this point, stuff like the brake lines that aren't wrong, they're just not done pretty. If I start taking all that stuff apart, we're going to go down a rabbit hole. And we're just gonna get deeper and deeper into this stuff, and I'm afraid that there might be no end to it. And so I'm kind of cutting it off here. And if Jim wants these things taken care of in the future, after he's got the car on the road, after he's got it registered and titled, then we can address some of those issues, point by point. But I want to get this car back to him for about what I said I would, and at this point, if we just keep going through this and nitpicking on all this stuff, I think we're just going to get out of hand. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to address the some of the vanity issues. There's some issues with the carpeting inside that would be nice to have it fixed. If I run out of time, then that may have to wait. There is some stuff in the front of the car, engine related, that I think needs to be addressed. So we'll address those things. We've just about got the suspension wrapped up in the front. I still want to throw this thing up on the scales and corner weight it, obviously check the alignment. And then we still got a clutch cable to put in it. We have to lower the engine because it's up on spacers, lower the transmission, and possibly lengthen the drive shaft. So, there's a lot of stuff left to do on this car that we knew from the beginning that we were going to do. And I just don't want to get bogged down in all of the other stuff that I'm finding and kind of lose sight on getting those things done. So I want to concentrate on all the stuff that we knew from the get-go had to be replaced. We still need to put an accelerator cable and pedal in this thing, because the one that was in there was just all boogered up. So I think what I'm going to continue doing now is this car has to come off the lift tomorrow night, because we're going to be dropping the engine in the 25th anniversary car over this coming weekend, and so I've got to get this thing at least mobile so I can push it off the lift and then move it over into the other spot in the garage. So that's what I'm going to concentrate on over the next day and a half. And you guys will see some of that in this video, possibly some in the next video for Jim's car. So stick around. I think I'm going to still come back one more time on this video and kind of show you what we've completed in the front. We'll get the wheels put back on, and then maybe we'll see what we're going to do in the next video for Jim's car. All right, everybody, next day. I think that's going to do it for Jim's car this time around. We need to get it off the lift this evening. We're going to be working on the 25th anniversary car over the next couple of days. But I did want to get you kind of caught up on what we've been doing on the car the last couple of days. And yeah, if you've been following us on social media, then you kind of know some of the things that we've been discussing about this car. It needs some work. And so another discussion with Jim last night. I think we're going to just trudge forward. We're going to try to fix all of the things that are lacking on the car and basically just get Jim a good driving car. So what I did is I started working on the accelerator cable, so I actually have it down in the foot box, and I've got it up to here. Notice I've got some heat shield around it because it goes so close to the headers that we want to make sure that we protect it. I've also got the clutch cable down in here, but it's going through two of the header tubes. For some reason, I just can't get the length out of it, and Factory 5, in their infinite wisdom, has the clutch coming out on this side of the foot box for the Willwood pedal assembly, and so I think that's one of the reasons it's just short. We're using the factory Ford cable. I really don't want to go back to that adjustable cable because the one we pulled out was melted, and I think that's the reason that Jim was having so many issues with the cable and the clutch as far as the engagement and disengagement. So we had a conversation with Jim last night, and I believe we have a somewhat clear path forward. Now, that's not to say that other things aren't going to, spring up in front of us and go boo as we're trying to get this car squared away. But I think we've got enough flexibility in our plan moving forward that we should be able to handle those issues as well. So we'll see how it goes. I want to thank you guys all for watching. If you enjoy the content on Jim's Mk4, please do the like, the share, the subscribe, comment. If you've got suggestions for us on this car, let us know. And we'll see you guys all next time. Have a great day.